The psalmist said, I love thy word. He said it 2 times in the latter part of the last 8-verse section. But he actually gets very meticulous, and he says, I want you to know, here's the type of comfort I receive from the scriptures. Number 1, he says, the word of God gives me life. The life that I have, there's every reason for me to be a walking dead man, but he says God has actually given me life in verse 50. He says, this is my comfort in my affliction, for your word has given me life. When the Bible speaks of comfort, it really just simply means to give ease in time of troubles or distress. The word comfort means with strength. How many times have you gone to your quiet time and you felt weak and helpless? And as you read the word of God, God strengthened you, gave you comfort, and his word became your life. Now, verse 50 says he's facing affliction. So the psalmist, when he faced affliction, what did he do? He turned to the scriptures. Affliction should drive us to our Bibles. Did you know that the Bible teaches in verse 67, before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I've kept your word? Did you know he says in verse 71, it is good for me that I've been afflicted, that I may learn your word. God says every now and then I allow some things to come into your life to afflict you so you will learn my word. So in verse 49, the psalmist is asking the Lord to remember. It means, God, I'm asking you, would you pay attention to this? Would you work on behalf of? It's a call for God to relate to his people in a special way. Lord, let me tell you what I'm going through. Have you ever heard someone pray? And it sounded a little humorous, and we've all done it, but you're telling the Lord what your situation is. You're reminding him. The psalmist did that. Lord, I just want you to know that I'm over here. And so the Lord would say, you are? When did you get there? Wow, congratulations. Lord, let me tell you what my special need is. Aren't you glad his eye is on the sparrow? By the way, aren't you glad he didn't say my eye is on the cardinal? Because there aren't many of them. But he took an old common bird like a sparrow. They're everywhere. And he said, my eye is on the sparrow. And you're worth much more, he said, than the sparrow. So your word is giving me life. What does that mean? It means I've come to a place in my life that really the word of God is keeping me alive. It is as though the word of God had breathed new life into him in times of affliction. And that's what the word of God does. That's why the devil wants to get a person that's afflicted and discouraged out of the church, because only the word of God can breathe life into that person again. So let's get them away from the word. So he has received comfort and life from God's promises.